but you're still getting to have conversations and things, and that can inform a lot of conversations too. So very much looking forward to it. And when you're thinking about kind of the way this is all setting up, we're finally in the time. And I know it took a while to get most of the business done. I don't know that the Cardinals are done because Chaim Bloom keeps talking about looking for a right-handed bat somewhere, ideally, and he mentioned this on the Gas House Gang the other day, ideally in the outfield. He said the outfield is the cleanest fit, I think is the way that he put it. But really just they need a right-handed bat to kind of offer some balance there. But it's not going to be a star. It's going to be a complimentary guy.
Guys that we thought were likely to come here, a Hayes and an Andujar,
they're
both off the board.
Signed,
Harrison Bader's off the board. There's some other names out there, but I don't know what it's going to be. Like I really thought that Andujar was going to be the guy when everybody else came off, and that didn't happen. So I don't know if it's a case of they have a very limited budget on what they're going to spend on that player. I don't know if I don't know what it is. If guys aren't jumping to come to a team that doesn't look like it's going to be overly competitive.
I think that's some of it. Yeah, I think it makes it a little bit harder.
But you'd like to see them at some point in like the next 4 or 5 days get that right-handed bat onto the roster.
I'll tell you what, and we don't have to get super deep into this because I haven't seen any connection to it. I think Randall Grichuk would be a nice fit.
I've seen his name. You're not the first person. There's not a lot of talk right there. That's a name. I know from a fan base perspective, people like the idea of a reunion with Goldschmidt where he's not an outfielder, but you could at least put Burleson in the outfield.
Yeah, that makes it harder. I'd be okay with it, but I mean it's harder.
It's a little harder. Just the fact that
because Burley's
Burleson
lefty, so your outfielders are all lefties, and that kind of
right. But if you need a right-handed bat to be in the outfield, well, what's the difference between Burley being at first or Burley being in the outfield and then goal? That sort of thing. So it's not perfect. It's not the best thing. But if they were willing to talk through a reunion, I wouldn't be against that.
No, and I'll say I would personally. This is nothing against Goldie. I would personally prefer Grichuk.
I think
because you're getting a little bit more. I mean, obviously you're getting outfield versus first base only, and Grichuk can play anywhere in the outfield. Like he's probably past the time where he's a good center fielder, but he can play center field. He's capable. You could put him out there and not be terrible. He's still got great arm strength. He still runs a little bit right around league average. He's got good bat speed. He career-wise smashes lefties. And, of course, you got a little connection here. Not to this front office, but it's not the be-all. I'm not sitting here pounding the table for Grichuk, but I do think that's the kind of guy that would be a nice fit, that you get him a one-year deal, get him a little money, and then he can handle left-handed hit and left-handed pitching, and he can move around the outfield and give you some defensive quality.
Yeah, and the center field thing is probably the big component there because we really don't know who's going to play center field behind Victor Scott II.
Yeah.
We don't know who's going to play center field, period, if Scott really struggles in spring.
Yeah.
And especially if Nootbaar starts the season on the injured list.
Yeah, even if he's healthy, he's coming off heel surgeries.
Yeah, you don't want to put Nootbaar in center field that often. I think for his best being, just get him out in left field and let him stay there. So, I mean, that's the good. They have to have a backup plan at center field, and I mean, you have Nathan Church.
Yeah, and I think if he has a good spring, he could be a viable guy, but he's also a lefty.
Yeah, exactly.
But he runs well, he throws well. He's not like Victor Scott fast, but he runs well enough, to play out there.
Yeah, and we got the message saying that Church is the backup for Victor Scott II. There's not a guarantee that Church makes this team. When you start doing the numbers, I think probably right now he's there.
Right now he would be, but if you add the right-handed bat for the outfield, he's going to be at Memphis.
Right. So that's where all of a sudden you want to still have that plan if you bring in somebody new.
Yeah. And again, if you look at the free agent, and I'm focused again, I'm not going to say I'm not saying the idea of Goldie is a bad idea. I just don't think it's ideal. So,
right.
It's not that you couldn't do it. You could, but it really does only give you kind of half of a victory when it comes to what you have to cover, because your worry is your outfield is too left-handed. and if you're not going to have a right-handed complement out there, well, that means if you're moving Burley, you're moving another lefty into that spot. And you can always put someone else at first base too, right? I mean, we have other options.
Sure.
But again, doesn't mean I wouldn't say yes to it because he's a good clubhouse influence, Goldie is. He can still hit lefties. So there's no real downside to it except it's just not a perfect fit. But I think that of the free agent outfielders, the only one that's a really good fit is Grichuk because, Hunter Renfroe is past it. Mark Canna's past it. They're just Connor Joe, no. Tommy Pham, I don't think we want to do that a third time. Nothing against Tommy. I think Tommy's a good player, but, he's 38, and he's probably
he wants
better
to
off.
play every day.
Yeah, and he wants to play every day. He's not. He probably isn't in the mindset where he wants to be a strict fourth outfielder.
Right.
Yeah. So, and by the way, we're talking about the free agents. That doesn't mean there isn't a potential trade out there either. For someone who might project as a bench player elsewhere that would then come to be a bench player for you. So just to keep in mind that, that's not necessarily, and I think Enrico's right. It could very well be that way. And Heim did say, it could be the trade market too. So we'll see. But that's kind of where we are now. That's the last roster question as far as what you're bringing to Jupiter. It won't be the last question about who's going to be coming north with the team.
Sure. And look, there's still some trade questions. I mean, could Jojo Romero still get moved? Could Lars Nootbaar get moved? I'll throw this one out at you. If Ivan Herrera shows that he can catch, if that the stuff that they've worked on is really working, and some team out there has a catastrophic catching injury in spring and is looking for somebody, could a Pedro Paez get moved? That's somebody that we've talked about all offseason.
Yeah, they got great catching depth, and if somebody needs that, you've got an asset there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pieces that are sitting there that could still get moved, but I think for the most part, the roster is what the roster is going to be for spring, and then we get to start watching some of these battles play out.
All right, we can handle this real quick. This is an honest question from Deadly. He said, question about Chaim Bloom. He goes, how come I only see him on the Gas House Gang? Does he not talk to anyone else? I haven't seen him here or on like Card Central or a few others. I don't track where Chaim appears outside of KMOX. So I don't know. I literally don't know if he's going on other places or not because I'm not really tracking it. I know he went on Gas House Gang this week and typically does for two reasons. One, the press conferences that have been ending lately are ending right when Gas House Gang is starting. So he's finishing the press conference and talking about the Donovan trade, and then he just picks up the phone and he's jumping right on. So a couple of the times recently it's been the timing. They like to do like 11:15 a.m. conference calls to announce deals, to talk about moves and things like that. So that time frame works right into where Gas House Gang starts at noon. Plus, he's always on with Tom on Sundays, and I think Tom's the one that just texts him. I think it might be just as simple as that. Like Tom texts him because they have the regular text thing going back and forth for sports on a Sunday.
And if we want to go really inside baseball on this, the format of this show, because of our break structure, it is actually tough for us to have guests.
Yeah.
We'll get them on Sports Open Line certainly on occasion here when we get into the season. But there's nothing going on here, and I'm with you. I don't really know where else he pops up outside of
and again, it's not saying that I don't know if he does or doesn't. It's not on my radar typically. I probably do see things occasionally on Twitter that would pop up, but again, I'm not really tracking it. And it's not out of any disrespect because all the people that work at other outlets, they're all people I know. They're all friends. And I respect and like all of them. It's just that I'm not tracking it. And I know that I also, from our purpose on a day like that, it's kind of a lot to ask someone to double up to.
Sure,
if you're going to pop on right after the presser, I don't want to ask you to do it again the next day or that night or whatever like that. So we'll figure it out. Maybe on a day when one of us is solo on this show, we'll figure it out because with multiple voices and traffic and weather and news, it gets a little cluttered for those that are not like into the radio nerdness that we're talking about. Sometimes the format's a little easier when you're on Gas House and you don't have a lot of those elements in there to make the time because we don't want to make a guest wait through a break. That kind of not easy for them to do. They don't all want to do that. All right, so good stuff. Appreciate you guys the questions. We're going to keep going with Cardinals talk. In fact, we're doing all hot stove today. As of next week, this returns to being Redbird Rush Hour instead of Rush Hour Sports because we're going to be entirely focused on the Cardinals now that baseball's coming back. So we got a bunch of stuff to cover. We're going to talk a bit about some big national stories in baseball. We're going to talk more about Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker. I'm sure you're excited about that. Don't worry, it's not going to be a hype thing. It's going to be more of a practical, what do we need to see kind of thing, and so much more. So more Cardinals baseball coming your way next on Rush Hour Sports.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, westbound Highway 70 has some slow traffic. Riverview out through Jennings Station. From the airport, most of the way to 270 is off the pace. It's sort of bogged down. Then just a brief backup at 61. If you're on northbound 170 from 70 up to Airport Road and around Hanley, still a little busy. South 170, slow. South of Delmar, jam from the Parkway to 64. Westbound 64, stop and go pockets from Boyle out through McCausland. It's a little slow. Spady Ballas around Topgolf. And then busy from 364 all the way out to Highway 70. South 270, south of 364 to Ladue, 44 down to Gravois. That's all kind of slow. Westbound 44, a little slow at Kings Highway and the right lanes at Geyer. Southbound 55, Gasconade Bates, sort of busy. Looks like Route 3 at Queenie, a train crossing, some backed up traffic both ways there. And 141, a little congestion into Carmen because of a recent incident there. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on Rush Hour Sports. And then coming up at 6 o'clock, countdown to opening day, baby.
Yeah, the last one originating from St. Louis for
yeah.
the year, which is great. It'll be we got a long conversation with Brad Thompson today, which is a lot of fun, and then we'll also hear a little bit from Hein Bloom as he discusses the trade. So a lot coming up from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, looking forward to a lot of baseball as you would expect here with spring training starting on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX. All right, so just because it's right before spring, I want to just kind of put this out there on the record. This is not about projecting statistics or anything along those lines. But what do you guys, and you guys can chime in, by the way, if you want to throw in your thoughts. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you can throw in your 2 cents. What's a fair expectation for Nolan Gorman right now? And we'll throw in Walker here in a minute. Because Gorman's got his opportunity at this point, right? Brendan Donovan is out. Nolan Arenado is out. if Gorman is not playing every day at some point during the year, it'll most likely be because he played his way out of the lineup as opposed to the team not having room for him, which is where it was last year. What's a fair expectation? You don't have to be specific on stats. We can be more general, like league average or certain characteristics like decent defense and power. What do you think is like a fair expectation?
That's a really good question, Kevin. I'm not trying to I don't know. Because
and maybe not I don't mean a prediction. I just mean like if this were to happen, this is okay.
It's okay if he's a guy who can cut down on his strikeouts. That would be the first thing. Comparatively from last year, significant cut down of his strikeouts, and a guy who shows a lot of power. If those two things can happen, I'm not overly worried about batting average. But batting average will go along with the cutting down of strikeouts. It's just where I'm really having a hard time with this. There may not be a player that I have a harder time predicting than Gorman, or what to expect than Gorman, just based off the wide range of what we've seen he can be. And I talk about it all the time. Last year, it was like a 6-week stretch last year where it seemed like he was the best hitter on the team. And then we saw what he did to finish out the year when he finally got that opportunity over at third. So I'm not trying to kill your topic here, Kevin. I just don't know.
I think that's informative in and of itself. I mean, it's that hard. It's not a simple thing to quantify, and I know it's an overly simplified question, and we got a couple of responses on here. I like this from Enrico Palazzo. Needs to be relatively healthy and run approximately 5 to 10% above league average. I would take anything above league average as a success on offense as long as the defense is capable. And again, not necessarily success in sign him to a long-term deal. It just means okay, that's a useful player. He's not somebody you have to move on from. I would say that if I'm going to go by something, I would say maybe a fair expectation offensively is what his career 162 game average is. Okay? So his career 162 game average is dead league average, 719 OPS with 28 home runs and 79 runs batted in. I think that's a fair expectation. I want it to be better. I know it can be worse. But I think that's a fair thing to expect, that we should see something that is around his career average. So that includes the rough couple of years he's just had and also the better years that he had before that.
Yeah, really, he had his one really, really good year, which is if he's the 2023 version of himself, he's a dangerous hitter because he had
that would be the real upside this year. If he had that year, that would be a hell of a find.
Yeah, that was a year where in 119 games he had a plus 800 OPS and 27 home runs. So if he's doing that over 162, that puts him well past 30 home runs. And that's what's lifting up the career average, right, Kevin? You mentioned takes into account these last two seasons. That one season is really the thing lifting it up.
Even last year, the home run total is fine. 14 home runs in 350 at-bats. That still puts you over 20 if you get 500 at-bats. So the home runs are there already. That's not what I'm worried about. Luke jumped in and said 248 to 265 with 20-plus homers, consistent defense. Guys, that batting average is probably going to be high. I think if you're looking at a fair estimate, you're probably looking more like 230, 240. But if it comes along with a fair number of walks, which it did in 2023, and it comes along with 25 or more homers, it's fine because and it's not great, it's just fine because you're probably looking at him hitting sixth anyway.
Yeah.
For a 6-hole hitter, that's fine. You want him to be a 4-hole hitter eventually, but again, I would say I would not expect anything above 250 on the batting average because he's a 218 major league hitter. His career high is 236.
Yeah, I would not expect, and that's okay. There's a lot of guys who have had low batting averages, who hit a bunch of home runs, who are very, very productive players for their teams. That's not a problem. I guess I would push back a little bit on last year's 14 home runs, and because you mentioned that's 20-plus home runs over a full season. If he's going to be a guy who's got that low of a batting average, Kevin, I want more. I just need more power from him. 20 isn't going to do it for me.
Well, I think it's a combination of all things. It's the doubles and stuff that he was missing. Which comes with putting the ball in play more because if you're swinging and missing, you're not hitting doubles. But, yeah, he slugged 370 last year. That can't happen. You got to be well over 400. He's got to be 420, 450 plus to be what we need him to be. Right?
Yeah, and we're going to be watching that OPS. That's going to – I mean, it's pretty remarkable that he had that 800-plus OPS in 2023, and everything's been 720 or below in his 3 other seasons.
Yeah, I think that's the again, the hope is 2023. The hope is 800 OPS, 27 bombs, 30 bombs. That's the hope. I think the expectation should be a little below that.
Yes, I just don't know how much below we go.
Well, and again, if it's too much below that, by the end of the year, he won't be playing every day. He'll play himself into a platoon with Thomas Saggese if that's the track that it's taking. And if Saggese were to catch fire and start hitting, then you might see it be just a change in who starts. But that's not the way it's going to open, I don't think.
Well, I think the idea of it being a platoon already is in the back of their minds, which is, I don't know, he's not that, like the splits aren't that bad.
They're not.
Norman.
No, they're not.
But at times he has been treated like they're just absolutely terrible.
Yeah. And I mean, I know they're trying to create options for Saggese too, which I'm on board with. I fully understand that. But if you look at his career, the left-right splits are identical. Gorman has a 717 OPS against lefties, 720 against righties. So he's not really a platoon candidate unless the guy that's stepping in against lefties is significantly better than that 717. Which is a part of it. Yeah. All right, stick around. We got a lot more to go. Another half hour here, and then we'll be followed by the Countdown to Opening Day show from 6 until 8. Matt, Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you on Rush Hour Sports.
Looking for your dream home in Wentzville? Welcome to Sutton Farms by Lombardo Homes, where community and comfort come together. Enjoy resort-style living with a private clubhouse, indoor courts, a splash pad, sand volleyball, walking trails, and even a dog park. Design your own custom home in our Parkside, Nature, or Tradition series, all within the top-rated Wentzville School District. Discover the perfect blend of small-town charm and modern convenience at Sutton Farms, located off Piney Road in Wentzville. Visit lombardohomes.com to learn more.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
At 5:30, the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got clouds moving in. It's 36 degrees downtown at the Arch.
These are grand horses, and the Super Bowl is grand as well.
It's become a tradition. St. Louis-based Anheuser-Busch sends the majestic Budweiser Clydesdales to each year's Super Bowl city. This week, they're in the San Francisco Bay Area. Josie Points with AB talked with CBS's Juliette Goodrich during one of the stops.
Let me set the stage here. So we've got the Dalmatian at the very end with the wagon of all of the I would say, carbonated beverages that they'll be sending. And Clydesdales, how many stops will they be making today?
I'm not sure of that. Just as many bars as we see.
I know there's some taverns they're stopping by.
As many bars as they can see. They're out promoting the Clydesdales appearance in one of AB's Super Bowl ads. The Super Bowl brings with it a rise in counterfeit tickets and merchandise sales.
If it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Advice from officials here in San Francisco this week. Believe it or not, from the last Super Bowl to now, the feds have seized more than 250,000 fake merch items, from jerseys and hats to championship rings. Eric Batt is with Customs and Border Protection.
These are high-priced items, right? You could tell the diamonds are not real diamonds.
The NFL says all Super Bowl tickets are electronic transfers. Anything else is most certainly counterfeit. Mike DeWald for CBS News, San Francisco.
Animals at zoos across the nation are using their paws and their noses to make their picks for the Super Bowl.
That's the Cooney pig at the San Francisco Zoo, pleased that she got special snacks for her pick for the game. Her choice, the Seattle Seahawks. Zookeeper Andrew Poole says pigs have the best instincts.
So it's very clear and very obvious why they chose Seattle.
So did Wilbur the Bearcat in Nashville, Serena the Lion in Iowa, and Charlotte the Tarantula at Brookfield Zoo. Maybe it's the whole animal logo thing, though some lions and rhinos are going with the Pats. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page gives us an update on the program Save Lives Now. It's a regional crime prevention initiative meant to lower homicides by 20% in 3 years.
And all this is done with experts in focused deterrence, experts in cognitive behavioral therapy, and working closely with our police department in St. Louis County to identify the most violent individuals, the individual most likely to be involved in a shooting, and have a very, very clear conversation with them about the choices they're making.
Page says so far they've had 13 interactions with individuals. 10 have taken the help offered. He says a similar program in Baltimore resulted in a 60% reduction in homicides there. There is a town hall meeting that happens tonight to learn more about these efforts. It's at the Clark Family Library branch, and it starts at 6 o'clock. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, for tonight, not as cold. Low temperature 33, just a tick above freezing. For tomorrow, sunshine moves in, much better temperatures. High of about 49 to 50 degrees. For tomorrow night, 25. Saturday's high 37. Sunday for the pet parade, sunshine, high 54. Right now, it's 36 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisements.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and mention the KMOX special.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
The chase is on.
Among those voices, Bruce Bradley.
I felt better when Jimmy Carter was president, knowing that Rosalind Carter was around saying, "Now, Jimmy."
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, westbound 70 has slow traffic. Riverview headed out through Jennings Station. After that, it's just kind of busy approaching 61, not even quite A to Z, so that's not bad. Northbound 170, Scudder to Airport, still a little slow. South 170, a backup from the Parkway down to 64. Westbound 64, Kings Highway out through McCausland, stop-and-go pockets. Still kind of slow west of Lindbergh, Spady, out toward Ballas, but not the whole way through there. And then 364 out to 70s off the pace. South 270, just a little slow, right at Olive. North 270, the right lanes north at Orset up to 70, look a little busy. Southbound 55, barely a slowdown at Bates. Westbound Manchester, right through 141's kind of backed up, but the highways otherwise are looking great. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Kalshi. Trade on anything. The big game is here, and now you can trade on football legally nationwide on Kalshi. Right now, New England is trading at 32% to beat Seattle. A $100 trade pays out $289. Use code FAN to get $20 when you trade 100. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here on a Thursday. And just talking ball, man. We'll be doing this all through the spring. The next time Matt and I talk on this show will be Matt from Jupiter rather than Matt from home base. And obviously, good to have you back, buddy. I know you've been sick, and glad you're feeling better and up to talking for a little bit. A reminder, countdown to opening day coming up after the top of the hour, hosted by my buddy Matt and Mike Claiborne. So there you go. Want to tease everybody again what's coming up?
Brad Thompson's going to be the featured guest on the
BT.
show. That's the bulk of the show today.
Yeah, that's good. Good times.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. All right,
He
so
can
let's
talk a little bit.
Yeah, Brad's great, dude. Yeah, I love BT. Let's do this. We mentioned the Walker thing. Let's do it quickly. Similar idea. What is a fair expectation? Not ceiling, not prediction. Just because he's been awful. I mean, we could talk about Gorman. Gorman, for his career, has at least been league average.
Yeah.
It's streaky, right? It was way above average for a bit, and then it's been below average. But for Jordan Walker, it's just been bad. I mean, he's 20% below league average for his career, and it's been trending downward.
Yeah. At this point with him, I mean, he has to take a big step forward. And, from an OPS standpoint, he's got to get back into the 700s. I would think that'd be where I would say that's a number. Batting average has to be up around 250 or so. Those are probably the big. I know the other numbers. I don't know how much loft he's gonna. I just want him actually making contact with the ball and hitting it hard, and then the other stuff can come along. So if he's not lifting the ball right at the beginning, but he's hitting it hard and making contact and it results in a whole bunch of base hits, I'm okay with that. So I'm not going to be overly worried about his doubles and home runs right away. But I do just certainly. So maybe I shouldn't even mention his OPS when I take that stance on it. But yeah, that's for me. It's about cutting down the strikeouts, making more contact, and being able to get that on base up a little bit more, mostly due to batting average.
Yeah, I would say this. I think a fair expectation would be around a 700 OPS. If you're below that, it's not going to be good enough. And I don't think it's going to necessarily happen. This is, again, not a prediction. But I think it's fair because in his first year, he had 420 at-bats, and he was 787 on the OPS. So it's there. We know it's there. And when I say 700, it's kind of the midpoint between that first year and these last 2 years. Just kind of why I centered in that range. A little bit above, a little bit below. Above would be great. But I think that's a fair expectation because, honestly, if it's below that, I'm not sure he's playing every day.
No, I mean, he has to win a job out of spring, too, or at least not lose a job out of spring training. And it's interesting. You go back and you look at that year because you try to figure out when did the struggles really start with him. And his OPS, as the year went along, it's not something where it really dramatically dropped. He had a tough OPS in the month of July, but it bounced back in August and September. It wasn't really until that next season where everything fell out for him, which is odd because the idea is that pitchers got a book on him and they started adjusting to him, and I believe that.
Yeah.
But it didn't really happen so much in that first season.
No. I mean, and some of it is also, I think he gets twisted up in his own head, and that makes it worse. He was feeling a little better. And this is the part that I think he needs to get over. Yes, he has mechanical changes to make. He has to see and recognize ball versus strike better. Like, he has to do those things. But he also has to be able to maintain a process regardless of results. And the problem to me in observing him is that he only goes as the results go. So when he starts to struggle, it's straight down the tube, and he doesn't find his way out. That first year, he had some success, and he was able to kind of just ride that. But the minute things go wrong, he starts to doubt. He starts to go back to old habits, and that's the part that's got to really change. Aside from the obvious, hey, the difference ball versus strike, and also being able to occasionally hit the ball somewhere, but that's not on the ground.
Yeah, but again, I think that comes a little bit later. Just hit the ball first. Just make contact, stop striking out, stop just, swinging at that low and away thing that you can never make contact with. If that can be the next step for him, then you go from there. And everything we're hearing, Kevin, and we heard this same sort of narrative last year, but everything we're hearing right now is that the work he's done on his swing this offseason is really good, and it's legit.
Fingers crossed.
So we'll find out.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
We'll find out in a week or so because spring training will be underway.
All right. So, Deadly, I'm not trying to be a jerk, dude, but I don't know where you're hearing things. Our buddy Deadly St. Louis said, I don't think we're going to see JJ for another year, so it's way too soon to start his clock, and he can't fail. Otherwise, tack on 2 more years of the rebuild, in my opinion. What are you talking about? I mean, the president of baseball operations is openly talking about wanting him to make the team on opening day. They're not giving it to him. They're not granting that right, but they want him to go win the job. I would be shocked if he's not on the opening day roster. He would have to suck in spring training to not be on the opening day roster.
Yeah, and no disrespect, Deadly, but you say that, and then we have another person says, you might be right about that.
Based on what reporting?
There's so much misinformation that gets out there, and then it gets regurgitated, and even on something like this on our video stream where it's out there, and then other people run with it, and it's incorrect. Now, there's no guarantee that J.J. Weatherholt is on the opening day roster. If he does not win a job in spring, he's going to begin the season at Memphis. The team doesn't want that. I don't think anybody wants that to happen. Is there a possibility that happens? Sure. But even if that happens, Kevin, I think at the latest, this is a guy who's going to be in the big leagues at some point this year.
Your defense is, it's my opinion, but okay, the dude, that's just like your opinion, man. Look, it's a bad opinion, dude. It's okay to be your opinion. It's just a bad opinion because it's not reflected by anything that's been said by anybody with the team or who covers the team. The fact that you're going to say you're not going to see him for a year? What are you talking about? Did you not see what he did last year? He doesn't have a year's worth of work to do in the minor leagues. And again, the team is not in a position to hold him back. And in fact, you're incentivized to get your top prospects to the big leagues on opening day because you can get draft picks when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I don't care about your feelings, Deadly. Sorry. He's like, that's how I feel. I don't care. It's not based in reality. You can feel what you want. I'm just telling everyone else that's listening, that's not the current reality. It could happen. It's got a very tiny percentage chance of happening that we don't see JJ. He'd have to get hurt to not see him this year.
Yeah, like the only scenario of him is be a season-ending injury of some sort.
Yeah. Don't keep telling me about your feelings, Deadly. It's not about your feelings, man. Facts over feelings. Sorry. I'm mostly just teasing you, dude. I know you're trying to be honest. I'm just telling you, don't feel that way. You don't have it. You're stressing about nothing. You'll see this guy, and I'd be shocked if it's not opening day. It's not guaranteed opening day. Nothing's guaranteed, but I'd be shocked. All right, real quick, one more segment. We'll come back and talk a little more ball here on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Brad Keselowski, driver of the number 2 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Did you know one of the most important keys to success on the track and for safe driving on the road is having the right pressure in your tires? Properly inflated tires are essential to help you get the best gas mileage and keep you driving safely. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by your local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, traffic continues to improve. Westbound 70 is just a little busy at Jennings Station. There's some slow traffic both directions right around Zumbel. Looked like we had a minor incident there. After that, you're pretty good shape. Northbound 170 just kind of slow north of Scudder to Airport Road. South 170, Brentwood to 64 backed up. Westbound 64 slow. Kings Highway out to Clayton Skinker. And it's a little slow. Lake St. Louis Boulevard out toward Prospect. Eastbound 64, 170 to Big Bend is heavy as well. Southbound 270 is cleared out. Southbound 55, barely a slowdown at Bates. We look good downtown on 44 between the bridges, and we look good on the Illinois interstates from the bridges headed east. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Wrapping up Rush Hour Sports. Reminder, countdown to opening day coming up after the top of the hour with Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne. Brad Thompson, featured guest. Lots of conversations to have with spring training starting up next week. And Matt will be going down there on Monday, and the crew's going to all be reporting. And so we are now, a week from today, we will have already seen the first pitchers and catchers workout. Because Wednesday is report day. Thursday is the first workout day, right?
Yeah, so WBC pitchers and catchers have a voluntary report date on Monday.
Yeah.
And then they've got something potentially available on Tuesday. Wednesday is the standard pitchers, catchers report date. And then Thursday is their first workout. And just talking, Claibs is already down there.
Yeah.
They are not done with the facility yet.
Oh, okay.
So there's still some things that need to be finished, some occupancy permits that still need to be issued before things can be officially opened up.
All right, good deal. Well, baseball's going to be happening one way or another. It's just a big deal. All right, just curious. This is not a Cardinals topic. We only got a few minutes left. What'd you make of the Tarek Skubal arbitration ruling yesterday? Well,
I was
actually, it was unveiled today. Yeah.
Yeah, I was happy for Skubal. I thought he earned it. I thought it was a really smart decision on where they put that money out, because basically all the arbitration panel had to do was believe he was worth more than the halfway point between those two numbers. So it wasn't about him being worth the, what was it, 35 million? 32 million. It was about him being worth more than whatever that halfway point was.
Yeah, it was like 25.9 or something like that, yeah.
So I thought his team did a really good job of choosing the number that they wanted to go with. He's obviously one of the top pitchers, if not the single best pitcher walking the face of the earth right now. So I was happy for him that he got paid.
He deserves every penny of it. But I am surprised that the arbitrator went for a 60% increase from the previous record in an arbitration hearing. The previous record was 19.9. This is 60% more than the previous record. So, again, I'm okay with it. I think he deserves it. It's totally fine by me. I was a little surprised that big of an increase was a victory for the union. But, I'm fine with it. He's a great player, and he deserves to be paid.
Yeah, and the owners tend to win these things. So an owner's loss here, even no matter how big the loss was.
And the Tigers blew it. Let's be real. They needed to go higher than 19.9. You know, they did make the biggest arbitration offer. So that was the highest number a team has ever gone into arbitration on. But they needed to go more because if they had gone in at 23, he would have gotten 23.
Yeah.
And it would have set a record, but it wouldn't be now 32.
No,
so I think they miscalculated. And I know MLB advises teams. This is part that people don't think about. The owners and the teams are advised by Major League Baseball on these things because they're all trying to keep from big precedent-setting change, just like the union is trying to do the opposite and set new precedent. And I think they miscalculated here. I think if they had just gone a few million more, they would have won, and there would have been a new precedent, but it wouldn't have been 32 million.
Yeah, and this might end up having ramifications for years to come. We'll see what the arbitration system looks like after the next CBA. There's no guarantee of it, whatever that's going to look like. But yeah, this definitely has the potential to have implications.
And it's an interesting thing to me because we had people out there, and as a baseball fan, I get frustrated when people who are in our business, Matt, frame things poorly. And there were some baseball guys last night that were like, when Framber Valdez signed, because Detroit signed him too, they're like, wait a minute, you're willing to pay Valdez $38 million a year, but not Skubal. It's like, they're not the same thing. One guy's a full-fledged free agent with 5 or 6 teams bidding on him. The other is in team control. Like, they're not the same thing. And when Skubal is a free agent with all those teams bidding, he's going to make $400 million.
Yeah, it's the system. It's what's been collectively bargained, and it works that way for a reason. So no, it is a complete apples to oranges comparison, and I was just as frustrated as you were when I saw that. That's just clickbait or uninformed statements.
Yeah, I was really happy to see my buddy CJ Nitkowski get out there today and kind of make fun of the people that are doing that because it's not the fair comparison. Now they can compare to free agents in the last year of arbitration to make their case. That's not the point. The point is that one guy is a free agent, the other guy is not. You can't compare them.
Right.
And when Skubal's a free agent, you'll see the difference. It's going to be a big difference. It's going to be $10 million more AAV for 10 years instead of 3 years. It's going to be something crazy. All right, buddy, looking forward to the show. Have a great one tonight, and then we'll talk to you from Jupiter next time.
Sounds good.
That's Matt Pauley. He and Mike Claiborne have Countdown to Opening Day coming up after the news here on KMOX.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey. I'm joined by my friend in